Hello, my name is Joe Eaton. As we commemorate the 70th anniversary of the end of World War II, it's important to recall the unequaled contributions of the Republic of China to the defeat of the Axis power. In the wake of the war, the ROC contributed to build institutions of peace, stability, and democracy. Against incredible odds, Generalissimo Chiang Kai-shek led the Republic of China to victory against Japan. China's victory in the War of Resistance against Japan relieved the Chinese people from over 8 years of suffering they'd experienced during the war. During the war, the ROC government negotiated with the UK, the US, and other allied nations to put an end to the extraterritorial rights and the other privileges they enjoyed in China. In 1943, the ROC signed new, equal treaties with the US and UK. Other countries began renouncing the privileges they enjoyed in China. China was recognized as a world power. The ROC's victory ended Imperial Japan's domination of Taiwan. In 1895, the Qing dynasty, after being defeated by Japan in the First Sino-Japanese War, ceded Taiwan, the Pescadores, and affiliated islands to Japan. For 50 years, Taiwan, originally Chinese territory, was a Japanese colony. During that time, as subjects of the Japanese Empire, Taiwanese were made to speak Japanese. It wasn't until 1945, when the ROC won the War of Resistance against Japan and World War II ended, that Japanese colonial rule in Taiwan came to an end. Japan was to return Taiwan, the Pescadores, and affiliated islands to the ROC, ending 50 years of Japanese imperial rule. After the war, the ROC treated the defeated Japanese without malice. The ROC repaid evil with kindness. At the end of the war, the ROC did not ask for war reparations from Japan. The ROC also worked with the US government to quickly repatriate Japanese citizens and soldiers from Taiwan. In comparison, the Soviet Union sent 600,000 Japanese soldiers from Japan's Guangdong Army to work as slave labor in camps in Siberia and the Far East. The enslavement of former Japanese soldiers stopped only with the Soviet-Japanese Joint Declaration in 1956. During discussions at the Cairo Conference on Japan's political future, on what form of government post-war Japan would take, ROC Representative Chiang Kai-shek suggested that the decision be left to the Japanese people. Consequently, the US omitted from the Cairo Declaration a clause that the imperial system be abolished. Asian countries also owe the ROC a debt of gratitude for supporting the end of foreign empires in Asia. The ROC's victory over Japan was necessary for the post-war independence of many Asian nations. During the Cairo Conference, attended by the leaders of the ROC, US, and UK, the ROC gave its firm backing for a free and independent Korea after the war. The ROC also expressed support for the eventual independence of India, Vietnam, and Burma. During a visit to India, Chiang Kai-shek was supportive of Gandhi's aspiration for an independent India after the war. The ROC, however, envisioned a post-war order of freedom and independence, respectful of the choices of all people. This has been the path to real co-prosperity in Asia. The ROC remained committed to the concept of universal cooperation during their struggles of war. While the ROC was a victim of war, throughout those years, the ROC never gave up on the thought of peace. In 1942, 26 countries, including the US, the UK, and the Soviet Union, and the ROC, signed the declaration by the United Nations against aggression in Washington, D.C. When the fighting ended, the United Nations was duly formed, and the ROC emerged as a creator and promoter of world peace. All countries that hold peace and democracy dear to their hearts are indebted to the ROC for this. Let's all say thank you to the ROC.